What up, y'all? I'm Bokeh Bob, and today we're going to be checking out the Keebzncables HMX Ice Cendol switches. With the never-ending introduction of new HMX switches, really it seems like every week we're getting a new HMX switch. Will this switch suit your preference or your preferred sound profile? Maybe. Let's check them out. As always, I like to make it clear that these switches were sent to me for review from Keebzncables. However, all opinions are my own and from my experiences using the switches. I usually use these switches for about a week before releasing my review. I also try to check them out on stream, so if you like watching live streams, make sure to check me out here on YouTube or on Twitch. Also, it would be greatly appreciated if you can like and most importantly subscribe to the channel, as it is a great way to support me and allows me to bring more reviews like these to you in the future. Now, let's hit that B-roll and check out the HMX Ice Cendol switches. Some of my most recent switch reviews were switches from Keebzncables, such as the Ice Kachang linears and tactiles and the B-Sun sweet potato and taro switches, both of which were great options for their respective sound profile. Now, we have the newest switch in their shaved ice lineup, which is the HMX Ice Cendol. HMX has been around for a little while now. There's a lot of hype recently with their great sound, factory lube, and of course their tolerances. Let's crack the Ice Cendol open and see what materials we're working with. The top housing is made out of PA12. The bottom housing is PA2. The stem is made out of T2, and it is an almost full travel switch with a distance of 13.9 millimeters of travel. Lastly, these materials are paired with a 55-gram single-stage spring. They come factory lube, and if you buy more than 70, they come in this fancy packaging with a spoon. At 38 cents a switch, you really can't go wrong in the pricing department. Let's get them into the Mode Envoy and see how they sound. Keep in mind I keep my Mode Envoy built exactly the same for all the switch reviews you see on my channel, so you can go from review to review and compare which switch sounds better or which switch you like the most. The Envoy is built with no foam, a palm plate, and GMK Keycaps. Enjoy. Now, what can I say? It's a solid HMX switch. It's almost hard to say anything bad about any HMX switch besides it not hitting your preferred sound preference, as there are ones that are very clacky, there are ones that are balanced clacky, and then there's some that are quote-unquote deeper, but they still clack. At 3.9 millimeter of travel, it doesn't have that super harsh bottom out and brings you a nice and well-balanced clack with the HMX signature pop we have all come to love with this Ice Cendol switch. In terms of sound profile, I put these in the same category as the HMX Swift or Hibiscus, if that makes sense. They're for sure not as deep as the Purple Dawns or the Kanglangs, but I wouldn't put them in a super high-pitched loud category like the Shin Highs or the Gleams. I would say in the HMX sound spectrum, they're right in the middle of the road and are very nice to type on. I'm actually interested in trying these out on carbon fiber or aluminum to see if they bring out more of that high pitch clack. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty, or what I like to call the perks and the quirks. Quirk wise, there is one thing I like to note here, which is pretty important information specifically put out by Keebzncables. There have been reports of some leaf pinging, most importantly 60 or so switches out of the 3,000 that they ordered. The fix to this is pretty simple though. Please try taking off the top housing and then press the stem against the leaf a couple of times and put the top housing back on. This here could solve the ticking on some of the most recent HMX switches and the Ice Cendol switch. This method basically helps spread out the lube on the stem legs and leaf evenly. If you do have any issues at all, I would highly recommend you contact your vendor and they should take care of you. I know Keebzncables has been taking care of their customers. On a side note, I did not notice this issue with any of my switches, so mileage could vary, but I did want to mention the problem, but it seems to be very minor. Also, another quirk note is the pricing is slightly higher than any other HMX switches by 3 cents, roughly. I would think this is in place because of the fancy packaging and the spoon that comes with it. Perk-wise, these switches do slap, and as I stated before, they're a joy to type on. I would consider them clacky even though they're not as loud as the very loud HMX switches, which it gives it a good balance. With it being almost full travel, it won't give you the super loud in-your-face clack. If you have tried HMX Swift switches before or the Hibiscuses, I would compare them directly to those as mentioned before. I would 100% recommend this switch to anyone looking for a nice balanced clack in their next build, or just trying to switch it up in an old build. This is a good balance of HMX where I know some people tend to not like the super loud and clacky. However, the thocky end of the HMX spectrum is too deep for them. This is a good balance switch. With the ever-growing HMX lineup, what switch is your current favorite that they offer? Or how about any new upcoming HMX switches you're looking forward to? Let me know in the comments. I'm looking forward to the HMX Snow Crash, which is going to be the first ever full travel HMX switch. Should be interesting. As always, make sure to check out some of my content here. Most importantly, like and subscribe to the video. And thank you for continuing to support my channel, and have a great rest of your week. Bokeh Bob out.